Hello, peeps and creeps, and welcome to Fright Club. I'm Gav, he's Danny.
Hello.
We are the Fright Club and this is a brand new episode of Monday Night Frights.
Hey.
Danny, it's that time of the season when we're heading
going
back
back
to Springfield.
We're going back. Da 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 da.
Manimals! Invertebrats! You must fight back against the one who did this to you!
Yar, the half-man, half-gorilla speaks the truth.
And we're back with episode 7.5 of Monday Night Frights. This week we're talking about the Treehouse of Horror.
Hey, we love talking about
Treehouse
of Horror.
We
do.
We love having a good old gantch about the Simpsons.
Oh, why?
Always makes her big grins on our faces. Danny, it's been wild pasty in Northern Ireland this week.
Wild pasty?
Pasty. It's been very soaky and warm
There's
and moist.
nothing pasty about this boy. He's got
Look at you, fucking.
I got my tan on. I don't know if you can really tell. But yeah, I've been
Is that why you
lapping up like a
beard?
lizard? Not even. You know what? No, the beard thing was just a notion. A lot of people have said to me like, "Oh, did you shave your beard off because of the heat?" And I'm like, "Nah, I just took a wild notion one night and was like, hoik the whole thing off." Yeah. So
when I said pasty, I meant sticky. Sorry, pasty was probably
clammy.
the wrong word. Clammy's
It's humid.
real clammy boy.
It's well humid.
Fucking.
But I've enjoyed it. I'm like a wee fucking tropical lizard. Like I'm just pure. Except for nighttime, I'm not enjoying it so much in the night. I'm pure tossing and turning and yeah. But sure, we're complaining when it's here, and when it's gone, we'll be complaining some more.
Sure, why would you need to go to Spain or Greece?
Exactly. That's my brother was away in Portugal there, and he's come home with the same tan as I got here.
300 quid he spent.
Jesus Christ, he spent a whole lot of money for that tan. I spent nothing. Fucking nothing.
Sure. Sure. Hopefully it'll last for a few.
I hope
days
I do
another
hope,
week.
For all those giving off about it, deal with it because it's going to be cold soon. It's going to be raining. And it's going to get cold.
The same cunts
snow.
I'll be moaning when it's fucking raining, and they're like,
why is it always fucking raining here?
So fucking deal with it.
We just had the good fucking weather, man.
We did.
But yeah, so I'm chuffed with it, and I'm going to continue going out there and basking.
Have you been getting the guns out, Danny?
Lizard I am.
Have you been getting the gun show out?
Yeah.
Or the buns?
I haven't even got the buns.
You got the buns out?
The buns and the guns have not come out yet.
Disgraceful.
I've got the farmer's tan. Like, well, I won't lie. I do have a full-on farmer tan right now. Yeah. But I'll get there. I'll get my daddies out eventually.
You have to. We all love a daddy, like
a wee daddy, just one wee daddy.
It's the wee.
You got to pay for the other daddy.
The faint hint of nip.
The faintest hint of nip.
Which is going to be your biography.
Go back to our previous episode to hear about the faintest hint of nip.
Long-time watchers will know that from.
Will appreciate the reference.
Season 3 or something. I can't remember.
Way back when.
Was it even before that? Maybe.
I think it was maybe even before that. But yes, the faintest hint of nip, coming this December. All good bookstores for Christmas, just in time for Christmas.
Classic. I know, you're like fucking Michael Bublé, just dropping something.
Michael Bublé.
December.
Michael Bublé.
Michael Bublé.
Call me Michael Bublé. New Christmas single out this year.
Right, anyway, fucking Simpsons. Here we go. Treehouse of Horror. Big fans of Treehouse of Horror, as you know.
I mean, we've managed to already talk about 12. So here we are today.
Yeah.
Talk about 13 and 14.
And 14. Mm-hmm. So, pardon me, I've just drunk a big glass of Coke, so I'm a bit gassy. So we always talk 2 episodes of the Treehouse of Horror, which works out like for 6 segments. So each episode has three segments, and we talk about all 6 segments.
Yeah.
Give us our thoughts, laugh at our favorite jokes, some things we didn't like, our favorite moments, that kind of thing. Yeah. So we'll get stuck in straight away with episode 13, which aired in November of 2002. It was season 14 of The Simpsons. They're always a season behind. Yeah. Because the first season didn't have any Halloween specials.
Season 14, episode 1.
Yeah, I've noticed that it is usually the first.
Starts going for the first episode now, so that must mean the run begins in like
November.
End of October, November time. Because I think even in episode 14, there is a reference to the fact that they're showing a Halloween special in November.
Yeah. slightly
So,
after Halloween.
yeah.
Yeah, I think they've done that sort of the last few times as well, I think. But we don't get any opening credits to this one. Usually, previous times we've had the sort of graveyard scene, where they go through the gates.
It's more of a bit. They do.
It's a bit.
It's a bit.
It's a bit featuring Flanders, who's fucking brilliant.
God. Yep, this bit's great.
And he's trying to well, he gets some help from Marge and Co because they want to conjure the spirit of his late wife Maud. So they partake in a seance, and initially they think, "Oh, Maud's here," but it's not Maud. It's Bart dressed up as Maud. I love
Bart with his boobies.
Bart's little ditties. I know. But then, of course, Maud does appear from behind Bart to scare them all, which I thought was fucking pretty cool animation, man.
It's really great. I love whenever she kind of first comes in. She's kind of doing like the scream she does when she's like falling. Whenever. So if you don't know, I'm sure everybody knows this is like common Simpsons lore, but Maud Flanders is killed by a stray T-shirt from the T-shirt gun baseball game, which Homer. Oh no, it's not. It's not a T-shirt, is it? Is it the Subway cannon, or it's like a sandwich? It's a T-shirt or sandwich.
I can't remember. I can't remember.
Oh, somebody in the chat put down, is it a T-shirt or a sandwich? I actually can't remember now. But she gets hit by sandwich T-shirt anyway and goes flying off the like seats. She goes flying off the back of it and dies. She dies, and that's like a permanent Simpsons death. That's like no takes his backsies. Maud is dead. So they do their seance. The ghost of Maud appears behind Bart, who's pretending to be Maud, and she's wailing and getting on. Flanders all like, "Maud, you're back," and then she gets real spooky.
He does, and then that's the end of the bit, basically.
Yeah. Well, I love whenever she like reaches into her own chest and like pulls out a book of tales, of scary tales, and it's actually, did you notice? It's the first one where they don't use Roman numerals for the title. Is Treehouse of Horror, but they use the number 13, which again I suppose is like typical like spooky thing. The spooky number
it goes
13.
all red, doesn't it?
It's big red 13, but it's the first time they didn't use Roman numerals for the.
That's right, yeah.
The episode title.
Facts, dropping the facts, Danny. Love it.
Boom.
So first segment is called "Send in the Clones," which is a parody of the film Multiplicity, starring the great Michael Keaton.
Keaton.
I fucking love Multiplicity. Have you seen it?
I've never seen it. No, I've never seen it. I knew that this particular segment was based on that, but I've never actually seen it. But I also didn't realize Michael Keaton was in it. So there you go.
Michael Keaton's in it. Definitely worth it just for him. I think he's one of the most overlooked comedy actors out there. He's so good at comedy. I know, obviously, just blah blah blah, but man, in this one, he's great.
I just love Keaton. Like, doesn't matter what he's doing. Like, Keaton's just fucking the man.
I love him. I love him.
Him, and I can't wait for him in fucking the Flash movie. Like, that's the only reason I'm going to see the fucking Flash movie is because Keaton's being fucking Batman again.
I know, but I really don't want to go see Flash. But I want to see
Keaton.
I want to see Batman '89.
Go for Keaton. Go for Keaton. That's hashtag go for Keaton.
Hashtag go for Keaton.
Get that man paid. Get him paid proper. Go for Keaton.
Right. So anyway, this one it's a riff on Multiplicity, which is about Michael Keaton's character who clothes himself to get jobs done, basically. And Homer does the same thing in this episode because Marge asks him, gives him a list of loads of things that he needs to do, and he's like, for fuck's sake.
It's the bit whenever she's saying about, all the jobs that he needs to do, and he goes, "Oh well, Marge, if I wouldn't be so tired if I hadn't eaten all those breakfast pancakes." And she's like, "Homer, they were for the church fete." He's just like eating them all.
He's just ate them all.
Oh fuck!
Like 100 pancakes or something. But yeah, so he has to do all these jobs, and he's getting pissed off, and then he randomly comes across this strange-looking old man in the street who's selling hammocks.
Yep,
as you do.
As you do.
And this very special hammock that Homer purchases is imbued by a curse. Well, we think it's a curse. It ends up being a curse in the end.
Yeah, it never really explains how the cloning hammock works. It's just
Do we need
A
an
hammock?
explanation?
No, not even. I mean, it's Treehouse of Horror. Shit happens.
We don't need any explanations.
Mm-hmm.
So Homer buys the hammock and he lies in it, and then he realizes that the hammock can clone himself, but each clone is more dumb.
Yeah, it's not even that
Dumb?
they're more dumb. They're all just dumb. They're
Just
all dumb.
dumb.
There's
More dumber.
a bit later on that we'll talk about, but yeah, they're basically just real like even versions of Homer than Homer is.
Aye, because Lisa says something like, "Isn't that even
Is that
dumber than
there's a bit,
usual?" Or
they
something.
do like a montage of like Homer doing different jobs, and one of the jobs is spending time with the kids, and he's playing baseball with them. And was it? Aye, Lisa's like, oh, does Dad seem dumber than usual? And the Homer clone's just like hitting the car with the baseball bat
That's
that
right,
they've been
yeah.
playing baseball with, and Bart just goes, "Me no notice," because that's their whole thing is just like real, like not speaking properly, like me need more clones to do the
Yeah.
job,
Yeah.
stuff like that. But just the way Bart goes, "Me no notice."
I know it's brilliant.
Great.
But so there is a couple of clones, and then eventually, as per usual, something bad happens. One of the clones ends up beheading Ned Flanders, which was a cool
Oh
little
my
scene.
god! It's yeah, go sort him out. And yeah, he fucking takes it. That's the thing. There's kind of it seems to be quite innocent. You know, the clones are helping out, and Homer's like living his best life. But there's kind of the bit before the Ned killing where you kind of see the clones are maybe about to turn, and it's the point where Marge and one of the clone Homers get home from like a day of shopping. And she's saying, "Oh, you know, you've been so helpful today, and you know, it's been great out shopping with you. Come on, and we'll go upstairs." And that's when the real Homer kind of slips in. He's like, "I'll take over from here, buddy." And the clone's like, "No, me go." And was it Homer? They start strangling each other, and he's like, "Oh, we're an even match." And then two more clones step in to help the clone, and Homer's like, "Oh no, I could easily be taken down by 3 clones." And the 3 clones come to advance. He goes, "No, I mean 4 clones." The clones are just like, "Oh." But again, I'm kind of like, that's kind of the sinister point where it's like the clones are about to turn on Homer.
Yeah.
Homer is just that he's that wee bit smarter than them. He's able to outwit them and be like,
a little bit, yeah, just a little bit smarter.
So then he goes off upstairs with Marge. But yes, that's the next scene after that. All the clones are making the breakfast, and then the family start coming downstairs. So Homer clears the clones away, and he's like, "Oh, I've made you all breakfast." And then Ned appears at the window.
Yeah. So they rip Ned's head off, basically.
Yep.
Which is, you know, pretty bad. And then Homer decides, no, we need to kick these guys to the curb. So he leads them to a cornfield.
I love this bit. I thought, is this the bit he takes them like out into the country, and he's like down a lane in a cornfield. And he's like, "Now, before I let you clowns out into this cornfield, who remembers the way home?" And one of them puts the hand up, and he fucking
just shoots him
with the shotgun. He goes, "Anybody else?" Another hand goes up. "Anybody else? Come on now." And another one fucking puts the hand up, blasts him, and then he just lets them all out, and they all fucking fall out of the truck, and he drives off. And it's the bit when he's like, "Oh, now to get rid of this hammock so it doesn't fall into anyone else's hands," and he just fucks out the window. He just chucks out the truck window.
So they all fall into like a big
Just
hole.
a heap.
Big hole that he's dug or something. Why not just shoot them all? Like,
you could have just shot them all, but it's just I love that. But when he's like, "Anybody remember the way home?" Boom.
So he wants to get rid of them because he realizes that they're more harm than good. He brings them to the cornfield, but they're not as dumb as they seem, Danny.
Nope.
Because they
figure out that
they figure out a way.
The hammock.
Yeah, they figure out a way. Well, they use a hammock to re-clone themselves and to build this army. They get out of the hole, and then they kind of
they're jumping in like 3 at a time, aren't they? They're jumping in 3 at a time, and they see like a field full of Homers, and there's like one with like glasses on, and you know a few of them are different. But then you see fucking Peter Griffin,
yeah,
is there, and then you get the original,
the old school Homer,
and he's like, "Who wants to go for some malted chocolate milkshakes?" And they all go off causing chaos.
But I love where they're eating the corn. That's how they get through the field. They're just eating
Yeah,
the corn,
just
and then
eating
there's
all.
like some farmer just being like, "Hey," and then they
It's
just run through him and eat him.
Was it the lawyer? What do you call the like the shit lawyer? Oh, Gil.
Ah, yes, yes, yes. That's
Well,
who it is.
look at all your corn, old Gil. You've made it now, and then all the homers
So they
coming
eat the
through his field and
farmer.
eat him.
They
Yeah,
start kind of terrorizing.
basically locusts. They're like
Yeah,
locusts.
exactly. Yeah, they're a herd of locusts. They start terrorizing a bit, and then it's on the news and stuff.
But the bell on the news, and they say it's like the town's been devastated, except for Moe's Tavern, which is which has had a booming business.
And they're all waiting outside, just one by one.
There's a queue of them.
Who's going to pick up the tab? Lenny.
Lenny. Anything for homers.
Hello.
Oh fuck! That anything for Homer's line killed me again. I knew it was coming.
Lenny.
It's one of the lines I remember from
Lenny.
watching this way back. But even when it's said again, I'm just like, anything for Homer's.
So obviously they realize they have to get rid of these homers, and then Lisa, being Lisa, kind of comes up with the plan to lead them away. Basically, like a dangling carrot on a string, but it's not a carrot; it's a donut, a giant donut.
Mm-hmm.
As per Homer, he's very
Loves his
he
donuts.
loves a donut. He does. We all love a donut, Danny.
Bloody donut.
We love a big donut.
Say that, Homer. He's a bloody donut.
He's a fucking donut, so he is. But so they lead them away into like basically like a canyon.
Mm-hmm.
And they all fall into the canyon, and they think that that's it. It's all done.
You get a load of does.
Yeah, Lisa saved the day again.
Okay.
But has she? We get a lovely little sting at the end. Whenever Homer and Marge are going to bed and they're cuddling up, and it's that time of the night for the loving, and then Marge realizes that Homer doesn't have a belly button.
It doesn't know. Because the clones we find out earlier on, Homer's inspecting the clone at the very start of the episode. And he's like, "Oh, Nelly, no belly button, but the dingling's still there." In his pants. But yes, Marge figures out this Homer doesn't have a belly button, so Twig's on he's a clone, and she's kind of a bit. But then he goes, "You want back rub?" and starts rubbing his back, and she's like, "Meh." And I love that it finishes with the song, love the one you're with. If you can't be with the one you love, honey, love the one you're with. I love that. I forgot that it kind of went out with that, and I was like, nice.
I've just come up with an idea. I think you should record our theme song. We don't have a theme song just yet, but we'll get one.
Song. We'll get one. Just
and I think you should record it for next
Fright
season.
Club.
That's
Ain't
good.
No party like a Fright Club party.
That's it. That's the one.
Coming from Palomino. We'll figure it out.
Something like that. We'll come up with something.
Yeah.
Any ideas? Just leave them in the comments below.
Drop them in the comments below. Yeah, let us know.
I know. So decent first episode or first segment. Onto our second segment, Danny, which is called the Fright to Creep and Scare Harms.
The Fright to Screep.
Screep.
Can't say the Fright.
Oh fuck! You can't speak now.
Creep and scare are harms.
Harms.
It's the harms bit at the end that really harms.
So yes, this is obviously a play on sort of the gun law and
the right to bear arms. I have the right to bear
Second
arms.
Amendment, I believe it is. Funny episode.
It is a funny episode. It's a very quick one.
It's quick and it's
plays out real quick.
Poignant as well.
Yeah, especially now. Like that's one of the things. Watching it back now, I was a bit like, because I think was there not, as of recording this, was there not another shooting in America today?
I don't know, man.
I'm pretty sure I seen on the news earlier there was another shooting today in America. So yes, this episode in particular was like,
I kind of stopped counting. No, so do.
It's mad. I was saying after reading the news story, I was like, isn't it mad how fucking apathetic we've become to fucking shootings in America? You're just like, there's another one.
Yep. That's it. It's terrible, man.
Mental.
So the episode starts off with Lisa and Bart burying their pet goldfish. What's the goldfish called? Larry, is it?
I can't remember.
I don't know why.
I can't remember. They say something about like
Larry?
Being a member of the family, and they're kind of having a wee moment. And then yeah, Lisa goes over to another grave and starts sort of like clearing away some weeds. And then was it the tombstones like
William, what's his name? William Boning.
yeah,
Bonning.
William Bonning and I Wish for a World Without Guns.
Yeah, because he was killed when he was quite young. He was death by gunshot when he was a young lad, and this kind of hits Lisa, and she's like, "Oh, that's shit." This guy wished for no guns, so she
William H. Bonnie.
Bonnie, yeah, that was it. So she starts campaigning to ban guns in Springfield, which magically happens.
They all just agree. They're just like, yeah,
clearly a fantasy world.
I love it whenever the like oil baron cowboy.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, let's get rid of guns, and he starts firing his guns in the air, and he's like, I'm just very passionate about my guns.
Yeah. So everyone hands in their guns, and you have a big long line of all the townspeople handing in their guns, which is quite funny, and nobody. There's nobody in the town that this doesn't apply.
Doesn't have a gun. Everybody, the whole queue. But I love that their guns are kind of keeping in character with their characters.
Of course,
like,
yeah.
I think Hans Moleman has like an old blunderbuss and stuff. I think it's fantastic. Yeah, all their wee individual guns.
And then the police have to also hand in their guns, which means that there's literally no guns in the town. So crime can just happen.
Well, crime doesn't even seem to just happen. It's whenever Snake was it Wiggum says to Snake, like, not so hard without your gun.
He just smacks
slaps him. He just slaps him.
Yeah, you're still hard.
Oh fuck.
I love Snake. He's great.
Yep. I love Chief.
So one of the best lines in any of these episodes, I think, is whenever Wiggum. It's not Wiggum, it's the other guy. I can't remember his name, but he's like he's handing in his guns, and then he says something about, "Oh, I feel less of a man. Thank God for my enormous genital." Did you catch this?
Yeah, I can't mind who is it that says that.
It's the cop. It's the other cop.
It's the other.
It's not Wiggum. It's his Wiggum's partner. I can't remember his name.
But yes, oh fuck, there is some good fucking gun jokes in this, like. Really is. But yeah.
But basically he says something about feeling less of a man.
Yeah.
He's like, thank God I've got an enormous genital. Which I had to go, what? Did he just say that? Fucking hell. Brilliant line. So they use the guns to help build play parks.
Yep.
Building slides. The bit is it Ralph? Is it that's going down?
Ralph's going down the slide, and the guns go off. So you hear the like shouting. He's like, "I like the bumps on my bottom." The gun fires off and fucking hits his hair.
Yeah.
Oh fuck.
But then of course the episode turns because it was all a ruse by William Bonney, who actually turns out to be Billy the Kid.
Yep.
And his corpse rises from the
hole in the ground
graveyard.
Gang.
The whole, I know.
That's it. Him and his gang, the hole in the ground gang.
The hole in the ground. Jesse James and Frank.
Frank and Jesse James. The Sundance Kid, and they're like, "Where's Butch Cassidy? We're not connected at the hip, And then Kaiser Wilhelm, and it's like, he's not even a cowboy. Yes, yes, I am.
Hello,
yippee,
yippee. Hello. Brilliant, fucking brilliant. But they end up taking over the town because they're the only ones that have the guns now. So they sort of, kind of, yeah, they basically just take over the town and start fucking
just shooting
robbing stores and shooting
and
people.
And I love whenever they go into Moe's Tavern and they've got the Simpsons in there, and he gets Homer over to the piano. He's like, "Play some piano." And Homer starts playing Fleur de Lis. And he like goes over and he goes, "That's piano. I said piano."
Hello. And then he starts playing like Gambler or something or whatever it is.
Oh,
from Sting.
That killed me. And then was that he gets Marge like, "And you play the cello."
Hello. They start singing songs.
Bart, he's like, he's like, "Boy, you sing a song about cow wrangling." And then he gets Lisa and he's like, "And you sing a song about robbing a bank."
Brilliant.
Oh,
Um,
it's piano, not
yeah,
piano.
that was a fucking great line, man.
That fucking killed me.
And then isn't Homer like, oh, maybe I could make a living of this or something?
That's right. He's like, Marge, let me have a solo. This could be a big break.
So we think
Oh.
Springfield has turned to shit, but then we have a hero. Professor Frink, as always,
Professor Fink
is
just
ahead of the
comes in.
game. He invents a time machine, which allows Homer to go back in time, which he does. And he wants to go back to kill the zombies,
Yeah.
which doesn't really make sense. But he does end up going back like a day in time to the meeting where Lisa campaigns to ban guns, and he explains the situation very briefly, but they seem to get it. The townspeople all realize what's happening.
It's just whenever Homer's like, take up your arms and follow me, and they all just go to the graveyard and they start shooting into the graves.
They start shooting the dead bodies, and then they start rising, and then they start shooting more.
It's whenever Homer's trying to
like
explain to Lisa, he's like, Lisa, you won't understand, and then he's like, get him, and Billy the kid's like climbed out of the grave.
I know.
Oh fuck.
So one of the best lines in this episode as well, whenever well, towards the end, so they chase them off, but towards the end, future Homer comes back. So Homer from a even further future comes back, and then what is it? Moe shoots him.
Because that's
And
Homer.
he gets the
Homer
time
from the
machine.
future's like, if we keep using guns, the future's going to be disastrous. And Moe shoots him, and he's like, "Pah!" With this, shoots him, and then he picks up the time machine. He's like, "Gonna go back and get me some caveman whores."
Hello, hookers.
Caveman hookers. That's it. Caveman hookers.
Dirty
Slicks his
Moe,
hair
like.
back and just gets sweet time machine, disappears back in time. Caveman hookers.
What a dirty bastard Moe is. He looks like a Neanderthal anyway, doesn't he?
He does. But I love what he becomes in the next.
Oh my god, this next episode.
This next one, this
one
is in this particular trilogy. This was my favorite.
Yeah, me too. It's segment 3 is called The Island of Dr. Hibbert, which is obviously a parody of Dr. Moreau, the H.G. Wells novel, which has been adapted many times for TV and film. Famously the one with Marlon Brando, which is very, very weird, bizarre. But the story of this is that the family go on a vacation to the Island of Lost Souls, which is the island of Dr. Hibbert.
Lisa's like saying, how are we really going on a holiday to the Island of Lost Souls? And Homer's just like, yeah, but look, it's a smiley face.
I know, it's just like a skull.
Skull with like 2 fire pits for eyes. Oh, fuck.
And then when they get off the plane, they meet Dr. Hibbert, who they all thought had gone mad.
Yep.
Which is a nice little sort of foreshadowing to what's going to happen here. So he's in charge of the island, and he's wearing all white.
Yep.
Which obviously means he's
got
in charge.
He's got the big sun hat and all. He's doing the Dr. Monroe.
He's doing Brando.
He's doing Brando, yeah. I love whenever they get off the plane and groundskeeper Willie comes up and he's a bit of a wolf man. And Dr. Hibbert tells him, not to worry, he might just slap her on your crotch. And Homer says, I've been around Scotsmen before.
I know.
Fucking.
So that's the first kind of instance where you see, oh, hang on, something's weird's going on here. And then when Hibbert invites the family for dinner, under the big cloche is Professor, but he's a turkey dinner.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, guess what? I'm dying. And then he clucks a few times.
He's playing it pure big. He's like, with the basting and the
the basting and the butterballs and the was it stuffing up my
stuffing up my
and then he cuts it. It's a bit just before that, before he reveals the Fink turkey. And was it like Marge is like asking what there is to do on the island? And Dr. Hibbert's like, how about not asking so many questions? He's just he just cuts her off. It's just like, what again, not what you would expect of Dr. Hibbert from any other Simpsons.
You sort of expect him just to be
this one.
You're sort of laughing. Marge is the first to suspect that something weird and sinister is going on here. So she goes to be snooping in the middle of the night, but she's kidnapped by Dr. Hibbert.
It's the bit when she finds the House of Pain, and she's like,
Oh,
"Oh, this
amazing.
must be where you come to pay." And she's like, "Oh, I'm always so funny when no one's around." And
I
then he
know.
appears and like takes hold of her, and he's like, "I'm around." It's real. It's actually quite sinister, but
It
he
is,
just kind of
yeah.
appears and is like, "I'm around," and then it cuts, and next time we see it's her as a panther sneaking back into her and Homer's bedroom.
Go back to the House of Pain.
Mhm.
So she has been mutated with a panther, a blue panther.
Yep.
And Homer
Still has the big hair though.
Homer doesn't seem to notice this.
Well,
just
he
happy.
says later on, yeah, he's like, "Oh,
After the sex, though.
you want to get it on?" It's when he's like, "She's turned into a monster." I did suspect during the sex.
Yeah, because the pillows are all ripped and he's got like a big Freddy fucking Krueger
That's when he
thing going
goes.
on.
He's like, whenever it's just like you see the silhouette of them sort of rolling around, and he's like, "Oh no, that doesn't really tickle. That hurts."
Yeah.
And then was it Bart fucks butt at them. They can like hear it from
That's
their
right,
room,
yeah,
and
yeah.
he fucks a butt at them. He's like, quiet down, you two.
And was it Homer says something like sex is always better on vacation?
That's
Or
right.
something similar to that. But anyway,
Mhm.
they have a wee banging session, and Homer's like, "Happy days, that was amazing."
They were cuddling,
yeah.
and then wee bird lands on the windowsill, and she pounces on it, and that's when he delivers the, "Oh, she's a monster." I did begin to suspect her in the sex. That's when, that happens. That fucking again killed me. Like
Classic. So they have animal sex, and she's a monster, and then, fuck me, they go into the barn, and Homer meets Flanders.
Oh my god, Homer in the House of Pain, and he finds Flanders in the stable.
And Flanders is like, "Milk me."
It's the best. Even before that, when he first sees Flanders, and he's like, "Oh, you've ruined this whole vacation." And then Flanders walks out with the bottom half of it. He's like a cow centaur. And he's like, "Oh, Homer, could you give me some relief and milk my teats?" And was it milk my teats?
Yank my teats and harvest my milk.
And harvest my milk.
I know.
And
Just really...
there's that bit where it's like the shot from like under like Flanders pointing at Homer in the background, but the teats like twitch. And it's like that's a real like intentional.
It's quite like, sexual, isn't it?
It's a bit
like a weird.
Because even Homer's pure like, I don't want to do that, Flanders. Yeah. But the twitch of the teats really adds to the whole like.
It's class.
Harvest
so they end up going through the jungle and they come across this gathering of hybrids.
It's the bit when they're riding through the jungle and Homer's like, "In the jungle, the mighty jungle, I ride a freak tonight."
Oh, so many good fucking lines in this episode, man. But they come across the gathering of hybrids that Hibbert has put together. So who's all there? Like Moe's a lizard.
He's a toad. Moe the toad. Lisa's the owl. Maggie's an anteater. Bart's a spider. Chief Wiggum's a pig. Cletus the slack-jawed yokel's a sloth.
The best one, though,
the captain's a crocodile.
The best one is Disco Shrew.
Oh my god, Disco Shrew doing a sweet dance.
It does a wee spin and all.
Fuck, Disco Shrew.
But then Hibbert comes out and fucking Ralph. I'm a dog.
I'm a puppy.
It's
whenever was a comic book guy comes out as the like goat like leader of the mutants, and he's like, "Oh, those still wearing pants, take them off and throw them into the fire." And Wiggum takes his off, and he's like, "I'm keeping my vest because I still want some dignity." And he's like, "Ooh, slop!"
I know. Starts to eat some shit.
Someone's like, toenail.
Oh, fuck. Stinking, man. Stinking.
So fucking funny. Was it the bit as Maggie's going along as a little anteater and Lisa like swoops down, like lifts her, and Homer like grabs like, "Hey, what you doing?" And Lisa's like, "Oh, we're just playing a game." And Homer's like, "What game?" And she says, "Who can eat Maggie?" It's like, what's that? Bart doing the spider webs eat my shorts. Spider web. Oh,
brilliant, man. That's so good.
And then Hibbert sort of talks about, was it Mr. Burns is the fox around his neck?
That's right.
Like
class.
And Lisa's like, Mr. Burns, and
This is the first time
Mark's
we've
like,
seen
"What the
Mr.
fuck's the
Burns.
attitude?" Yeah, yeah, actually, in all of these, isn't it? The first, well, I think you maybe seen him in the gun lineup, do you? In the second segment, I
Maybe,
think he's maybe in the
perhaps,
gun
yeah,
lineup, but
perhaps.
this is the first time you see him. Was he's just all he says is here, here.
Uh-huh.
Dr. Hibbert says something, and he goes here, here.
I love when Hibbert comes in and he's like, when he addresses everyone, he's like, hello, manimals and invertebrats.
Invertebrats, that's it.
Invertebrats.
Manimals and invertebrats.
What a great line.
line. Yeah, what a fucking fantastic line. It's the bit when Homer then says, how can you be satisfied, eating all day and sleeping all day and mating and wallowing in your own filth. I think it's just like, where can I sign up?
He realizes that is the life that he's been
That's
after.
the life that he wants.
So
and
he
then
he gets mutated into a seal, which
yeah.
no, it's a walrus. Sorry,
It's a walrus. He's got his
walrus. Yeah,
because that's it. Not Lisa. Marge comes over and says, "Oh, could he scratch her back?" And then he's like, "Sure thing," and he uses his big tooth to scratch her back. Then
brilliant episode.
Oh, so
best
good.
episode so far.
Manimals and invertebrats. What a way. That's somebody fucking take that for a speech or something.
Yeah,
going to use it if I ever have to do a speech again. I'll open it with, "Good evening, manimals and invertebrats."
I hope they get the reference.
Oh, imagine.
Hopefully.
There'll be one person, just probably be you, just be like,
yeah. Fucking classic.
I think, this one's definitely this of the three of them. This one's my favorite. This is the one I remember the most.
A couple of good episodes coming up.
Those three. There is some good ones coming up, but so far out of what we've talked about so far, the island of Dr. Hibbert, definitely
the best.
Even watching it this time, there's wee things that I'd kind of forgotten about that, had a good chuckle over this time.
It's got some good one-liners that you kind of have to go, hang on, did they actually say that, Which is always the best ones.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
But on to episode 14,
Mm-hmm.
which is season 15. This episode aired in November the 2nd, 2003. So again, a couple of days after Halloween.
Yep.
The intro for this one is Bart and Lisa dressed up as Charlie Brown.
Before we go on to episode 14, it's actually, as the Dr. Hibbert episode is closing out, it actually we get like a nice little pre-credit segment of Kang and Kodos make a quick appearance to say that the island of Dr. Hibbert looks like the alien number for 4.
That's right, yeah.
Again, just a real quick thing, but Kang and Kodos make an appearance.
They do, and
they
do
love a
this
little
one
Kang
as well.
Kodos.
They pop up in this one, don't they?
They do pop up in this. Because this is the one I talked about earlier when they make the reference to the fact that they're showing a Halloween special in November.
Yeah. It sort of does feel like these two
Kang and Kodos make an appearance.
These two episodes are connected because Kang and Kodos pop up in the intro.
Yeah, that's it. This one 13 closes out, 14 opens up with our friends Kang and Kodos.
Well, it starts with Lisa and Bart dressed up as Charlie Brown and Lucy from Peanuts, and they're going through all their Halloween sweets, and they're not very happy with their Halloween sweets. And they start fighting, and then Homer and Marge join in, and Grandpa's there. So your favorite character.
Fucking love Grandpa. Love him.
He gets burnt, and then he's like,
I just remembered. Grandpa again makes an appearance. He's in the gun line, but he's a rooster in the island of Dr. Hibbert. Yeah, he's a rooster in that as well. So big up Grandpa Simpson.
I know.
And he appears in the fucking he's in the episode with the Homer clones, because sure when the Homer clones goes to see him and he's like saying he's
that's
like,
right, yeah.
And at the end of the war, at the end of the war, Superman had to race FDR around the world, and FDR beat him by a Fig Newton.
I know.
Or at least that's what the comics will have you believe.
A furlong.
A furlong. That's a furlong. Fig Newton.
And then he just
falls asleep. Yeah. And the Homer clone's just sitting there, nodding the whole time. Oh fuck.
So we get basically a big fight with the family, and doesn't Homer get stabbed with the poker or something?
Homer gets stabbed with the poker, and then Marge brings out a shotgun, and then I think Homer goes to throw like a firing log, and that hits Grandpa.
He starts burning, although he's still cold.
He still complains about the cold. That's
I know. And then it cuts to Kang and Kodos, who are watching, and then they make the comment about the fact that it's really the start of Christmas, and why are they showing a Halloween
episode? That's right.
Yeah. So, episode 1, Reaper
Madness. Mm-hmm.
You know, a play on Reefer Madness, but this
Mm-hmm.
one is about death. Again, now we've had death before
Mm-hmm.
in one of the earlier um, Treehouse of Horrors. He's a bit different in this one, but he turns up at the door, um, and it's time for Bart to die.
Mm-hmm.
And I love how we get the whole Benny Hill chase scene with the music. So
Yep.
Death's chasing after Bart, and it's the Benny Hill music,
All
which
through the
is,
house.
works
Yep.
every time. Put that music over anything, and it works.
Yeah. When will it
Uh,
not be funny?
exactly.
Anything will ever not be funny.
But eventually Homer kind of has enough, and he ends up killing Death.
Mm-hmm.
How?
What was it? He just hits him with something,
It's
doesn't
a
he? He
bowling ball.
just a bowling ball. Yes, that's
Yeah.
right. Uh-huh.
Um, and so Death is dead, which means there is no death in the world anymore. Which we get a great little montage here now,
Yep.
where bad things happen, but people don't die. So we have Tony. What's the guy's name? He's basically Tony Soprano. You're wearing the
Fat
Sopranos
Tony.
t-shirt.
Soprano.
Fat
It's just
Tony.
Fat Tony. Yeah.
He's shooting Frankie the Squealer.
Aye, him and his goons.
Why
are
are you not
shooting
dying?
fucking
I don't know, but if I knew, I would tell you.
It's just all the holes, all the billow
Oh,
holes. Oh fuck! And then Mo hanging from the fucking roof, just
class.
dangling there, like, oh man. And when it cuts back to after the montage, and it cuts back to Homer, who's just like nursing death. He's just like holding the skeleton in his arms.
And then he tries on the robe. He's like,
Mhm.
"Ooh, this is a nice fit." But by trying on the robe, he sort of takes the mantle of death, and his hand turns into a bone.
Yep.
The big, long, bony finger that points. So he takes on the job of being death, or the Grim Reaper, I should say.
Yeah, that's right. He was it because he refuses at first to take on the mantle, but the death's robe starts to like crush in his crotch.
That's right.
He's
He's bent over now. That's right,
yeah. So yes, and then he gets the list. He gets the death list.
So that's his job now, and so much so that Lisa takes him to, like, bring your dad to school day type thing. And
That's
they're
right.
talking about his job.
The teacher's like, "Who wants to see Mr. Simpson reap a soul? Bring away homeless man."
I know. He thinks he's getting like a free meal or something.
Grim.
It's pretty grim. It's really bad, actually. But he starts kind of using it to his advantage because he's at a ball game with Bart, and he's got really bad seats, so he just ends up like sort of touching the people and killing them, picking them out, so that he can get good seats, and then he's starting to take the piss basically, killing people for the wrong reasons, and then there's a line that he says here. Now I'm paraphrasing a wee bit, but I'm pretty sure it's he wakens up one day and he's like, "Ooh, who am I going to finger today?" Now, I'm not sure if that's definitely the line.
Yeah.
But
No, I think you're right.
the whole thing
that,
is that he's pointing the finger, and it's something. It definitely was very lewd, and a bit of an innuendo. But it killed me. I thought it was very funny.
Yep. Oh, and then that's it because he goes, "Oh, who am I going to finger today?" And he opens his list, and it's Marge.
Marge. And then he's like, "No, take anyone else but Marge." And it changes to Homer, and he's like, "Well, let's see, what was that last one?" They go back to Marge, and he has to kill Marge, so he makes the really difficult decision to kill Marge, and he brings her up. But he's been a wee bit naughty. It's not Marge at all. He's just cut Marge's hair off and put it on Patty.
Oh, Marge's hair off, and he's like, "That's Marge's ugly sister, Patty."
I know.
And then that's right. Chase ensues. God's light chasing after Homer, and then he rides off on does he not ride off on like a motorbike or something?
It's a motorbike, and then he goes so quickly that he jumps over like a railway road just as a train comes by, and then God's like,
"Was it?" He's like, "I'm too powerful and rich for this."
I know. And he's fuck
sends away. That's right.
And then we see Marge with her hair chopped off. She's all like, "Oh, thanks very much, homie, for doing that for me." So it ends on a very positive note, which is very nice. Not bad wee episode, quite short as well, but pretty funny.
Yeah, and then Marge gives him an extra pork chop for not.
That's right.
For not killing her, and he's like, "I'll be sure not to kill you next week."
I know. So segment 2, which I love this segment. I think this might be one of my favorites.
So good.
Out of all the segments we're talking about. The main character is Professor Frink, and it's called Frinkenstein.
Frinkenstein, yeah.
Which is a great play on the word Frankenstein and Frink.
Yeah.
And as you can imagine, it's playing with this idea of sort of building a body, which they touched on before, but they've done it slightly different in this segment. So Professor Frink is going to be the recipient of the Nobel Prize for his work with science because he's a great mind.
Yep.
And he's talking to Lisa, and he sort of confesses to Lisa that he wishes his father was still here, Frank Senior.
It's whenever Lisa goes to tell him about he's receiving the prize, and he's like, I wonder if it's for my work for a hammer with a screwdriver on the back of it.
That was a slow year or something, and he said.
Yeah, I love that.
It's great.
That's the thing he's most proud of.
But so he confesses that he misses his dad, and she assumes that he's gone away somewhere, but he's actually not. He's dead. And not only is he dead, but Frank has him in his fucking closet.
He's kept him frozen.
He's kept him frozen all these years. So he was killed by a shark bite.
Yep.
Which is a great way to die. But what I loved about this is the character of Frank's father is played by Jerry Lewis, who's amazing comedy actor, and his voice is just very unique. I think his voice is great, man.
Yeah, it's a
really good voice.
But again, he's kind of doing the Frankie thing
with the this and with the that and stuff. Yeah, kind of neurotic, but funny, very funny. So Frank decides to take the body that's left and tries to reanimate him so that he can witness him receive the Nobel Prize. But unfortunately, by doing that, he comes back as sort of part man, part machine, which his father isn't happy about.
Yeah, and he says, "What is it?" He's like, "Oh, we were able to bring you back, but with no kidneys and no penis."
I goes, "Oh, it's okay. You're still a man, but you don't have a penis."
But you don't have a penis.
Sure. So Frank Senior isn't very pleased about this for obvious reasons. So he decides to go out and sort of steal body parts. Yeah. Although, I wonder, did he steal a penis from somewhere? Because they don't actually show that.
We never get that. We never get any indication as to whether
he steals like what's Sideshow Bob's mate? With the bone.
Oh, Sideshow Mel. Yeah, Sideshow Mel's hair.
They steal his hair, and he's got
about when he's saying about
other bits.
Mr. Skinner about his posture. He's like, "Oh, you've lovely posture, sir." And Skinner's like, "Oh, well, mother always says good posture's what you need, because a crooked spine is the devil's roller coaster."
I know, and then he just rips his spine out.
And then what does he takes off?
He takes something from Flanders' throat.
He takes something from Flanders. Yeah, he rips out Flanders. What does he does? Take off Flanders. Oh, he takes his heart. He rips out his arteries and his heart and all. Yeah.
And the best one is comic book guy.
Oh my god! Whenever we get he's like walking down the street, and you can see he's made up of all the. He's got like Snake's arm and Sideshow Mel's hair, and he's just made up of loads of different bits of Simpsons characters. And then Lisa manages to convince him, your son's winning the Nobel Prize. You need to go and get to Stockholm to see him. And he's like, "Oh, well, you better not put me in economy class, because comic book guy's ass isn't going to fit in those seats." And then was it? Comic book guy's like, "You can keep the ass, but give me back the jab of the butt tattoo."
I know, class. Just, I love comic book guy. He's probably one of my favorite characters in the whole fucking season. So he goes to Frank's speech. He's doing the speech, and then his dad interrupts it and basically sort of comes to and is like, "Oh, I'm so proud of you" and stuff.
Yeah, declares love for him.
Yeah, exactly. But then you sort of realize that, no, hang on, he's got something else planned here. So he ends up stealing the brains from all the smart people in the room. And so he literally just walks up and grabs her head, opens her head, takes the brain out and puts it into his own head. And he's got these multiple brains stacked up inside his head. And you think he's going to get away with it, but Frank ends up standing up to him and sort of nullifying him by kicking him in the balls.
Yeah.
What's it he says? Balzac or something.
Balzac.
Like that.
Yeah, there's something. Oh fuck! But that's it. He finally stands up to his dad, and his dad admits to how truly proud he is because he's finally stood up to him. And that's it. You think he's dead, but then it turns out that Fink's actually been able to like trap his soul in a box.
Keep his soul in a box. Yeah, keep his soul in a box. I loved that. I thought it was a great episode. I just loved Jerry Lewis as his dad because I thought he just, brilliant, just brilliant. On to the final segment, and it's called "Stop the World, I Want to Get Off."
Yep.
Based on an old Twilight Zone episode, called "A Kind of Stopwatch," which is about a mysterious stopwatch that can stop time. A lot of the Treehouse of Horrors are based on Twilight Zone episodes because they're so fucking influential. Pardon me, but this is when Bart and Milhouse. Anything with Milhouse is usually pretty good.
Oh yeah, love Milhouse.
There's a recurring line in this when Bart asks Milhouse, "Do you know what this means?" And he's like, "Yeah, but you said first."
He said first.
And I love Milhouse. I love his
whole thing.
I just love him, man.
There's a great bit where Bart's saying, "Oh, they've just stopped time," and he's like, "We can go and we can do whatever we want. No one's going to tell us we can't do it." And I can't remember what it is Milhouse says he's going to do, and Bart goes, "No, you can't do that."
Yeah, it's something. Is it not something about school or exams or something?
Oh yeah, he's like, "I'm going to go read up
on
something,
do a lot of homework and be prepared for the next exam or something."
Yeah, and then Bart's like, "I'm not going to do that."
So what happens here is they find these old comic books, and there's like there's like a send away thing.
Marge has been like clear, and she's like, "If you boys love roof space, you'll be glad to know that I got these old comics down."
I know. So they go through these comics and they find that there's an advertisement where you can send away for this stopwatch. And they're like, "Aye, why not?" So they do it, and this guy comes with a stopwatch. Then they find out that if they're both touching the stopwatch and they click it at the same time, they can stop time. Which is kind of like a kid's dream, really. Like we all wish we could have done that when we were kids, or even now, it'd be class. So they do it. They obviously start taking the piss quite dramatically once they realize they can do it and what they can do.
We get a bit of a montage.
They get the montage, and we get an amazing scene when they're at assembly with Skinner, and they stop time and they pull down his trousers. And when Skinner realizes this, the line that he delivers is, "My slacks, they've descended."
That's right. Oh fuck!
Oh, how good is that?
Skinner's
and the way he says it as well is just so good. Yeah, but they do a couple of different things. They fuck around with Homer's donut eating and stuff, and
that's right.
There's loads of different things that they do.
The power plant, and every time he goes to reach for one, it disappears on him, and
but they get found out.
There's a town hall meeting. It's like there's strange goings on, loads of fingers up noses, and yes, and then the mayor's
it's the mayor.
we put phosphorescence around the town hall, so we'll find out who the perpetrators are. And he turns the light off, and you can see all the footprints, and they lead up to Bart and Milhouse at the snack table.
And then the townspeople give chase, and they're catching up with them, and eventually they stop time. And their plan is to put not Ralph, who's the other one, the wee German.
No, it's not the wee German. It is the nerd boy. Skip to my loo. Oh my god, what's his name?
Is it not the wee German kid?
No, it's not the German kid. It's the nerd one. Hold on, let me see if I can find it. Martin. It's Martin.
Oh, it's Martin. Of course, it's Martin.
The suck up.
Yes, Martin. Yes, they put him in place, and the townspeople end up beating him to death, basically.
But that's it.
Before that.
Yeah,
before that, we have this big, huge part where they stop time, but they break the watch, so they can't fix it, and they can fix it. It just takes them 15 years.
Yep. It says it's in. You can learn to repair a watch in 18 easy steps over a course of so many hours. Yeah, and then it takes them like 15 years.
Yeah, and they've grown up. So Milhouse basically looks like his dad. And Bart looks like old Bart with the ponytail, who's a bit fatter.
Marge describes him as Shaggy? Why is he taller and Shaggy?
Shaggy, yeah. So they fix the watch to get it going, and then they restart time, and they watch the townspeople beat the fuck out of Martin. But it's funny because just before that, they're walking around and they see Oscar De La Hoya randomly,
Yeah.
and they're like, "Can I just punch Oscar De La Hoya?" And Milhouse starts punching him.
Was it Bart's like only above the belt?
But he's part of the townspeople that beat up Martin,
They're ganging up on Martin.
and then he's like, "Oh, I'm enjoying this." He starts beating the kid.
And that's the. Did you notice comic book guy is beating him with the lightsaber
I did, yes.
as
They all have
well,
weapons.
which I was like, nice.
They all have their
Yep.
own different weapons, and
Wee
he's got the
weapons.
lightsaber.
Mm-hmm.
Classic.
Yeah,
Classic
and then
scene.
it cuts back to the Simpsons, and yeah, that's when Marge says, "Why is Bart taller and shaggier?" And Lisa says, "Oh, you know, isn't it obvious? It was Bart with his stopwatch. You know, I wouldn't be able to get away with something like that." And so Bart throws her the stopwatch, and she first clicks it, and they like split in half, and like the top halves of their bodies are flying around the room, and then she presses it again, and they all switch genders. And then she presses it again, and they become bobbleheads. And then she
Yeah,
presses
that was
it again,
class.
and they become TV guides. And then they press it again, they become the Fantastic Four. And then they press it at Vital Time, and they're like doing hula hoops. And Homer's like, "Stop it there, Lisa!" And they're all hula hooping.
Yeah,
That's
so
great.
the watch can do different things.
Mm-hmm.
Is the whole sort of gimmick
It
here.
plays out, yeah.
And then yeah, they basically stop it
Was
there.
this the first multiverse? Was this the first time they multiversed?
Ooh.
Da 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 da.
Did they invent the multiverse?
Ooh.
So how does it end?
That's it.
Just
That's how it
ends like
ends.
that,
It just
yeah.
ends after that, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Good episode.
Another good episode, yeah.
That's all segments that we've done.
Done them.
What
Gav, what was some of your favorite?
what was your favorite segment?
I've already kind of said what my favorite segment was. It was the Island of Dr. Hibbert for me.
me too,
I
me too.
love there's some absolutely cracker one-liners in there. I love all the different Simpsons characters done as like their different animal forms. We kind of touched on a few. Mayor becomes a panda. There's I mean, if you go back and look at it, there's just so many Simpsons characters done as different animals. So yeah, it's great. And yeah, it's got to be the one-liners and stuff for me, and the source material as well that it comes off is great. So yeah, what about you, Gav?
That's probably my favorite segment too. I do have a fondness for Frinkenstein.
Yeah.
Just because I love Jerry Lewis as Frank's dad.
Mm-hmm.
The last one there maybe wasn't the best segment, but I liked the line that Skinner said about slacks and how they've descended. And
It's a good line, but
yeah,
I think of all of them, probably my least favorite.
It's probably one of the least favorites of the bunch. I do like the previous episode when Frank's dad steals comic book guy's arse.
Yeah.
Again. And he says about you can keep the ass, but give me back the tattoo.
I think that's the thing with all the Treehouse of Horrors so far. Like every individual segment has at least one killer one-liner. So it doesn't matter even if it's the poorest of the bunch. There's still some absolute fucking zingers in it. Like,
yeah.
So that's it. It's not saying much by saying it's not the best of the lot because it still has some fucking killer lines in it.
Absolutely. Because that's all the time we have this week. Please, as always, leave comments below. Let us know what your favorite segments are that we've talked about, and let us know your favorite one-liners. Like we dropped a couple of decent one-liners there, for sure. But as always, please subscribe to the channel, hit the bell, share with your friends. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram, like us on Facebook. We're asking quite a lot here, but we need the support, so please do.
Yeah, come on, guys. It'd be good if we could get to 400 subscribers on YouTube. We're
not far.
We're getting pretty close, so
we're not far off 400. So if we can get
share
there,
the profile, we'd love it.
If we can get the 400 by our next episode, that'd be really, really cool. So we'd really appreciate that.
Yep.
Tell your friends. That's probably the best way you can support us. And as always, check out the website at www.thefrightclubni.com.
Yeah.
But we will head off now. We'll be back in.
Should we wait?
2 weeks.
Will we wait? Can we? Do we? Will this go out before? This goes out before. This should go out. This should go out the Monday.
This goes out before our next screening.
So, just to let you know, in case you don't already know, and if you don't know, now you know, we are screening not one, but two Arnie classics. We are screening The Predator and The Terminator Friday the 30th of June in the Braid Arts Centre, Ballymena at 7:30.
7:30.
7:30
Doors are at
p.m.
7.
Doors at 7:30 p.m.
Yes.
And it's only a fiver. That's 2 movies
nip.
for a fiver.
5 nip.
Come on to fuck.
What the fuck?
And
He's
enjoy
fucking
a couple of Arnie classics with us.
mad bastards.
This Friday, 30th
Yes.
of June.
And we, as always, Danny, we've got a cool little prize we're giving away that we always give away to.
Maybe 2 prizes? Is there not? Do we not have
Oh,
maybe?
well, shush.
Oh, sorry. Oh, spoilers.
If you come to one of our screenings, you will always have the chance to win a
There's
prize.
always a prize. We
Sometimes
always
they're
have
good,
a...
sometimes they're just not so good, but
Nah,
still.
they're always good. It's all part of the
Bit
crack.
crack.
It's all a bad crack. We ask a question, and then we always have a backup question because
We
the
do.
first question's always too hard. So
Has anybody ever got the first question?
I don't. I think there's been one occasion. I think
Maybe
the
one.
Lost Boys screening we did. Somebody
No.
got the first question. Are you
No.
sure?
That
Did we
was who
not?
did. No, because that was who did the
Who did the
musical
soundtrack?
score.
Yes.
No, nobody's got the first
That's right.
question.
Nobody got the first question. Yeah, no one's got the first question then. To any of our questions. So we'll try again this time.
We'll
Let's see
try.
if somebody who what is the common connection between the
I know.
Terminator and Predator? Ooh. It's not the obvious answer.
We'll come up with a good question.
We'll think of
but
something.
yes,
We'll think of something. But yes, come along, answer a question, win some prizes, enjoy the movies with us. And who knows? There might be other stuff. We'll see.
who knows? Who knows who might turn up?
Who,
You never know.
Who knows who might make an appearance?
Who knows? Who knows? Huh? There may be a special
Um,
guest. There may not be. Who knows?
But yes,
a certain governor.
see you there. Don't be square. Oh God, imagine.
No, imagine.
Who says we haven't reached out to him and he hasn't responded?
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
we definitely not reached out to him about 20 times. But we'll see. No, please do.
If anybody happens to know him,
I know.
hit us up. But yes, come on, Friday, 30th of June, 7:30 p.m. The doors,
£5.
double bill, £5. Come on, everybody.
Right. Anyway, so we'll see you in 2 weeks. As always, stay safe. Take care. All the best.
Bye.